Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sir Jude, and today, here is the video lecture for the calendar method. So, let's start by recapping the menstrual cycle, specifically the four phases of the menstrual cycle. So, in each slide, determine which menstrual cycle phase is experienced by each woman and later by the hormonal trends. So, number one, by the way, no, we have four phases of the menstrual cycle. We have follicular, ovulation, luteal, and then menstrual. Let's start with number one. So Thaisa's uterus thickens at maximum. So her uterus thickens at maximum because her uterus is anticipating either a sperm cell or pregnancy, no? But that will fall under the luteal phase or the secretory phase because it is at that point wherein the uterus is at the thickest. Number two, Natalie discharges a liquid resembling a raw egg white. So this is ovulation because her discharge is the egg cell. So ovulation is literally the discharge of an egg cell. That's why Natalie experiences the ovulation phase. Number three, Misty cannot get pregnant because she is not yet ovulated. Because this one occurs before ovulation because there's no egg cell yet. Then therefore, Misty experiences follicular phase because her egg cell hasn't been released yet. Therefore, she cannot get pregnant at all. Number four, Shauna experiences uterine cramps and has been bleeding for a week. This is menstrual phase, obviously, because she is experiencing bleeding and dysmenorrhea or uterine cramps. Now, let's now analyze the table, uh, tabulating the hormonal trends as well as the thickness of the uterus. So, you have an increase in concentration of the follicle-stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, and the estrogen, a steady concentration of the progesterone, and the thickening of the uterus. This will fall under the follicular phase. Then, you have a drop in concentration of follicle-stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, estrogen, and progesterone. And this is the only phase wherein the uterus begins to thin out, causing bleeding. So this is obviously menstrual phase. Okay. Then you have maximum concentrations of the follicle-stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, and estrogen, as well as steady concentration of progesterone and the thickening of the uterus. This will fall under ovulation. Okay. And finally, you have a steady but very low concentration of follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, fluctuating concentration of estrogen, and uh, maximum concentration of progesterone, as well as the maximum thickness of the uterus. This is the luteal phase. All right. So now that we know the processes involving the menstrual cycle, so let's now proceed to the calendar method. So the calendar method is a natural way of family planning and serves as an alternative contraception or birth control. Because it is in this method wherein you're going to plan when you're going to have sex without getting pregnant and getting pregnant. So let's start. So Annika's first day of menstruation this year is on January 8th, which is today. Her menstrual cycle always lasts for 28 days. Because her menstrual cycle is always 28 days, therefore Annika experiences regular menstruation. So here are the five questions I normally ask when it comes to problems dealing with calendar method. So by the way, let me just reiterate the important values, no? So number one, we have her first day of menstruation, which is January 8th. So in your calendars, I ask you to mark January 8th with letter M. And her menstrual cycle lasts always for 28 days. So therefore, she experiences regular menstruation. Now, So the first question is, how long will her current menstruation last? So current menstruation usually lasts for 7 days. But then again, this one depends on woman to woman, no? And we will have a lot of discussion after we finish this lesson, specifically on why some women have shorter menstruation or longer menstruation, etc., etc. But let's stick to this rule, no? So 7 days. So if our first day is January 8th, then she will experience menstruation until January 14 on her current menstrual phase, the current menstrual cycle. So just like January 8th, please also write letter M from January 9 until January 14. So we always start counting at day one or at the first day, which is January 8th. Now, second question. Now that we know that she will menstruate from January 8 to January 14, when will be her next menstruation? So her next menstruation will be 28 days from her first menstruation. So by doing the math, we expected that Anika will have her next menstrual cycle, her next menstrual phase, sometime at February 4, 2025. Which also happens to be a Tuesday. Okay? Now, let's pause talking about menstruation for a while and shift gears towards ovulation. So number three, letter C, when will be her ovulation day? When we say ovulation, this is the day wherein uh, a woman releases her egg cell, at least one egg cell. So ovulation day usually falls under 14 days from the first menstruation. Because this is 14 days from the first menstruation, that happens to be the week after the final menstrual day on the current menstrual phase. So the day after January, sorry, the week next to January 14, Tuesday is January 21, Tuesday. So that will be Annika's ovulation day. That is the expected day wherein her egg cell will be released. Now, this next part is where things get a little bit complicated because letter D is when will be her fertile days or unsafe sex. When we say fertile days or unsafe sex, this is the time wherein a woman can get pregnant. And we use a formula wherein we subtract 18 days from the shortest cycle. So shortest cycle minus 18 days. And then we subtract 11 days from the longest cycle. So longest cycle minus 11 days. So this is the only time wherein you're going to solve a problem. This is very easy because you're just going to use subtraction. So for the first fertile day, no, you have 28 days from the menstrual cycle minus 18 days according to the formula. So that will give you 10 days. I mean, the 10th day. So therefore, her first fertile day will fall sometime at January 17, while her last fertile day, which is 28 minus 11 days, no? So that will fall under January 2024. Ayan. So again, first fertile day, the 10th day is on January 17, and her last fertile day, 17th day is on January 24. And everything in between will be marked as F. Okay? So that means from January 17 and January 24, Anika can get pregnant. So, sir, can we also write F at January 2021 when we already wrote O in it because it is the ovulation date? Yes, you can, but I decided to still stick with O because that is her actual day of ovulation. And to be honest, no, in our module kasi, I don't really know where this two formula came from, the shortest cycle minus 18 days and longest cycle minus 11 days. I researched for it and unfortunately I'm unable to find an explanation um surrounding these two formula, but let's just stick with it. I mean, let's just stick with them. Okay? So, as you notice, this lesson is an entire probability topic because you are getting the chance of whether you're getting menstruation or ovulation or unsafe sex. Okay? So, last question for this problem, when will she have safe sex? When we say safe sex, this is the time wherein a woman cannot get pregnant anymore. So she will have safe sex during the days after the last fertile day. So the last fertile day is January 24. So her safe sex will begin at January 25 until before the next menstrual cycle. So the next menstrual cycle is due on February 4. And before that is also a safe sex day, which is February 3. So her safe sex days will occur from January 25 up until February 3. Okay? But sir, how about January 15 and 16? For January 15 and 16, we haven't put letters yet because so far they don't belong to any of the four. And because this is my last question for these problems, no? So ano kayang ilalagay natin na mark for January 15 and 16 since blanco sila? Will it be an extra menstruation day, an extra ovulation day, an extra fertile day, or an extra safe sex day? So let's analyze one by one. Because we expect with women most of the time have an average span of menstrual phase for 7 days. We not extend menstrual day anymore. So 15 and 16 will not be marked with letter M. Now, ovulation day only occurs for 1 day. So because you already designated January 21, O is impossible for January 15 and 16. For fertile day, we already assigned January 17 as the first fertile day and January 24 as the final fertile day. So once again, that is out of the range. Therefore, the only possible letter is safe sex or letter S. That means you have two extra safe sex days for Anika, given her situation. All right? And once everything is complete, then therefore, we're done with calendar method. Now, what I showed to you, this is an example of calendar method for regular menstruation. How about for irregular menstruation naman? So, I decided to use the same day, first day of menstruation, January 8, para you have comparisons on how the two sets of answers are different from each other. So, second problem. A couple ties their vows on New Year but postpones their honeymoon because the wife cannot predict her next menstruation given her irregular menstruations in the past. She finally does on January 8th, meaning the wife and Anika have the same first day of menstruation. For the past 6 months, her shortest cycle lasted for 26 days and her longest cycle spanned for 32 days. How does this problem illustrate irregular menstruation? That's because she doesn't have any fixed span for her menstrual cycle. Unlike Anika, wherein her menstrual cycle occurs every 28 days, for the wife or for this woman, for the bride, no, her cycle varies. The shortest span is 26 and the longest span is 32 days. Okay? So once again, her first day of menstruation is January 8th. So mark January 8th with letter M. And also according to the problem, her shortest cycle is 26 days and her longest cycle is 32 days. So same set of question as the first problem. How long will her current menstruation last? That's 7 days. So that means by counting, by using January 8 as day one, no, the wife's menstruation will last until January 14. So far, our answer for letter A in Annika's problem and the wife's problem are just the same. Okay, next. Or when will be her next menstruation? So her next menstruation occurs 28 days from the first menstruation. So by doing the math, she will have her next first day of menstruation on February 4. Once again, just like in Annika's problem, the answer is still the same so far until letter B. Okay, next. Letter C. When will be her ovulation day? Ovulation day occurs every 14 days from the first menstruation, so 14th day. That will fall under January 21, which for the third time uh, is the same as the one with Annika. Now, because Annika's regular menstrual phase lasts for 28 days, I expect that for the wife's fertile days or unsafe sex, it will now be different. This is the point wherein there were some days that are gonna be fertile, there are some days that gonna be safe sex. So let's now use the formula. So remember, for the first fertile day, shortest cycle minus 18 days. And for the last fertile day, we have longest cycle minus 11 days. Okay. So for her first fertile day, we have 26 days, the shortest cycle, minus 18 days. No? That will give you 8th day. And for the longest cycle, you have 32 days minus 11 days. That will give you the 21st day. So therefore, her 8th day, her first fertile day, will be on January 15, and her last fertile day, her 21st day, will be on January 28. And everything in between will be marked with letter F. Oops, sorry. So that means um, the wife's fertile days will be from January 15 until January 28. Now, for the safe sex days, no? These are the days after the last fertile day until before the next menstrual cycle. So the last fertile day is January 28. So the safe sex day will start at January 29. And her next menstrual cycle is on February 4. So her safe sex day will last until February 3. So in short, her safe sex days will be from January 29 until February 3. So in Annika's case, no, the number of fertile days are shorter compared to the safe sex days, while for the wife's case, the number of her fertile days are longer to that of the number of her safe sex days. And these are the two questions wherein Annika's and the answers to Annika's and wife's fertile and safe sex days are now different because of the differences in their shortest and longest cycles for the past 6 months. All right. So here are now some of the questions for the calendar method. So number one, why are there women with regular and irregular menstruation? So especially for females, when you're curious with when you ask your friends or classmates about their menstruation, no, it's very, very different. Sometimes it can be regular, sometimes it can be irregular, sometimes it starts out regular, then becoming irregular, then irregular becoming regular. So that means, no, there are some factors to account, and here are they. So pituitary, ovarian, and uterine problems, hormonal imbalance, genetics, lifestyle choices, and health problems. Each woman's body is different from each other. So therefore, you can't really compare what happens to one woman to another. Okay. Number two, is the Highlander method 100% safe and effective in predicting safe and unsafe sex? So honestly, the answer to this one is no, it is not, because it is either a hit or a miss. This entire lesson is one big probability session. So just like in mathematics, no? Especially we have probability topics as well. Although we have entirely different techniques and procedures. Mathematics kasi the scope of probability in mathematics is very general, but here for science largely confined within menstrual cycle. They say they're a hit or miss because once again, each woman has a different history, has different biological properties, has different menstrual experiences. No? So it really either is a hit or miss. And some women are not really aware of their previous cycle. Sometimes they forgot. No? Next question. Since the calendar method is not 100% safe and effective, how can individuals have safe sex? So if you're unsure, no? Therefore, I suggest that practice personal hygiene, using contraceptives, and most especially consultation with doctors. Mas maganda kung couple kayo na magko-consult with doctor, no? Because even though for the past 2 to 3 lectures, I largely nag-dominate na yung female reproductive system, no? You can't really conceive a child or you can't really have sex when with only one person. I mean with yourself. Obviously, you cannot self-copulate, you cannot uh conduct self-intercourse. You need a man by your side, no? So that your partner is also aware of what's happening to you. Uh and so you can plan together. Okay? Next. Ayan, kaya pala. And remember, just like the closing quote last week when I first tackled sex, no? Just remember that education is of both men and women is still the powerful and most wonderful contraceptive. Because regardless of any lectures, regardless of any consultations, regardless of any contraceptives, no? At the end of the day, still on the person's mindset and decision making, no? On kumbaga, sa kanilang pag-iisip at sa kanilang pagiging open-minded and sa kanilang decision-making pa rin nakasalalay lahat ng choices nila sa buhay. So if you're careless, if you're reckless, and if you are ignorant, yes, it's kind of ridiculous that a partner or a couple has to do everything that we discuss para bago mag-sex, no? But again, if you're not ready to become a parent, uh, you know what to do. Okay? So be responsible and mindful of your own decisions and actions. And that's it for the calendar method. And this is also the final topic that would be included for your performance task 3.2 and long test 3.0. Okay, this is kind of long. Kaya we will have our performance task on Friday by group and your long test on Monday by pair. So till then, I am Sir Jude. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.